You guys, how's Tim going? Good. Doing good.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. Oh, yeah, sure. Good. How are you? Good. Really? Oh, hey, I love you very much, but Kim is sitting there by her husband.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Might take
Don't want to cause
an hour off
an
or something.
How's it going?
We've done this softball sign. We're about to do the baseball sign. And we're also doing the football one.
issue.
So, but we have to take the old, you know, parts of already in Mustangs, it's like all faded and you can't even read it anymore. They're redoing the football field. Well, that'll be the third one. So when they take it down, we need some
She was
football
already in it,
player
so.
family to get the old decal off.
Seen some questionable things on the agenda.
Of course, boosters is gonna be them, but we,
Fun stuff.
we don't have a ton of it. That one's already done.
That one doesn't say Jimmy Smith.
Oh, no, not that.
Which irritates me.
Brian didn't finish mine.
Never started.
He went in and paid
2,500 out of 10,000.
Oh.
Yeah, no, this is, you know, on the top of the scoreboard, it's how it says moving the things and it's all faded and you can't read it. We're replacing those.
He's hard to get
So,
The government means like going to church, nobody wants to sit in front.
That's part of it.
Oh, to me, it's really good. I love the people right here. A bunch of angry kids going Stayed out of jail as long as people.
I don't like him very well.
Go on to my dad's Friday, it's not supposed to be windy, but
I just got back from Missouri, so I don't.
you get windy.
Yeah, pretty good one.
excuse me. I figured.
You get a switch over on the
Sure.
bus and get them on.
Everybody does it. He does it pretty reasonable for me. My brother shot,
You have my dad for hunter safety?
that's a long time.
Yeah, you were 10 or 12.
My brother
I think he beat you.
we shot at the same spot one day, but
She's signing, just so you
Oh, it's just cheap stuff.
I know Lake Shore stuff too. Are we doing, is the township doing the building permits for Lake Shore stuff? Is it straight?
Getting more legit too.
That's right off.
In the spring, I got plans to pick it up.
I've got nice.
Okay.
Do we have, does the township have those points that you hand out or you got a contact that you go to?
I know you are. It's just a
Really cool service for the citizens, like we had something that they could put on the website, so that if you run to do the Lake Shore now, fill out this paperwork, don't bother our figure.
I have probably that or less. Yeah, I mean, but they're on one side. Anyway, it's not one to do it.
I just.
The guy at the south end of Fox Road, right there at the bridge, the Wildwood guy.
Yeah, I know he changed. This permit
got approved.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I remember coming here. So, I just want more people to get on it.
It's actually a 4 point, but
Really, we
once
can't
on
be
the
blocking
other
the
side,
door here.
it looks like a twig. It looks like a branch twig coming up. Huh? Well, not by my house, my friend's house.
I got one on the
But,
phone.
And then the other one down, which is.
That's an interesting setup.
Just has spikes, but they're probably about.
Yeah.
No, there's no racks. There's nothing. I keep telling the person that has the property, you need to shoot one. Get rid of it.
So we've been doing
I got mine.
You gotta get it. It's fall. I don't
No, I
start seeing cross lane.
I was curious about other people that were building down by the lake.
We have wildfire.
Not going to something like that. Who's gonna follow up on that? I don't think Well, then we got that mailer in the mail with, the guys offering to do seawalls, but it's all concrete pre-block.
Oh,
Next block.
yep.
And the last I knew, Eagle wasn't allowing concrete.
Well, I know they don't like the straight walls.
I'm sorry, am I in your way there? Yes, you are, you're leaning against me, and I don't need your ass on me. Thank you, I appreciate it. You're not gonna fuck me in your wildest dreams, so stop.
Yeah, this is where I'm seeing there's a 40. It's but it's also to a state and not all three on 3 sides. Not deer in there, but it's just terrible.
Okay.
Book of false accusations right there.
Yeah. I've had 5 people send me messages from shit that's been posted on Friends of Edenville Township just today.
It was just her talking to herself though, responding to her own post. That's what she does.
Well, they blocked me from it, so I can't see that. Everybody's just like, this popped up.
So Mariah was telling me that she saw Mitch in the hallway today, and he said that Mitch said he's got 5 guys and he's not bringing anybody up.
We got a couple people on here. Stay tuned, y'all. It might get interesting. There's quite a few people here tonight.
Call this meeting to order, please.
Recording in progress.
As the meeting now indicated, we are recording this meeting. If you do not wish to be recorded, I'd ask you step out. I also want to say thank you all for showing up for a Veterans Day edition of of the Edenville Township Board meeting. In recognition of the fact that it is Veterans Day, I'd ask our veterans to please come up to the front and stand here. Jim, would you orchestrate our Pledge of Allegiance for us? Would you, sir, please step forward. Everyone else, please rise.
All the best, come up here. I know someone right there. I know a couple of them. Where's that? Get over here. One more, I know. Anywhere. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you all for your service. Will you please bow our heads? Grace and inspiration and courage, so that we may lead the township in a wise and just fashion. Amen. All righty, we've got a few stragglers coming in and joining late to the Zoom. Welcome to our meeting. To my fellow board members, as has been helped and developed and modified and evolved, we're gonna have, we, to the best of our knowledge, know that we have properly noticed this meeting in accordance with the Open Meeting Act.
Yes.
Okay, thank y'all for that. Again, welcome to the Edenville Township November board meeting. It's been a busy day for us and a busy previous month. We are completing a very rigorous audit. It's taken a while. We've, as you recall, retained a new audit firm, and they are doing, I think, an incredibly thorough job. I have received many updates from them, and we are anticipating finishing things up in short order, and the report will be back to us by the year end. And if here in time, we will do some remarks at the December meeting. I will tell you that it has taken them a little while. There's been a significant amount of cleanup that was needed, and we are making progress, and folks are doing good. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to close the Zoom meeting and restart it. We've got some folks doing some pretty obnoxious things.
Was it signing or verbal?
It was visual.
Oh,
Recording in progress.
So I would remind my fellow board members and those in the audience that the meeting here is for the board to interact in an open and public manner as is required by law. This meeting is for our use. The public are our invited guests. We expect them to conduct themselves accordingly with respect. There will be a public comment period in a few minutes. We will be adopting formal rules later in the meeting, but that they will include, commenters will have a 3-minute window. Comment must provide first and last name and indicate whether or not they are a resident of the township. Comments must be addressed to the chair and not the audience nor other board members. We will not tolerate personal attacks, and that this is an opportunity for the public to address the board. We will hear, but will not engage. Kim, do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I would look for a motion to approve the agenda. I have a motion.
I have one thing to add first.
If you move, Jim.
I move, yes.
Dan?
Second. Can we hear what he's gonna add?
Now let's have a, now that we've got a motion, a second motion on the floor.
I received a letter last night. I gave it to the fire chief and the deputy. And Modern Woodsmen want to recognize our fire department with an award. Next meeting, they'll be here with a certificate, and I'm gonna donate $100 to the charity that they want, the fire department. So you guys think about it, what you want. But we'll have this letter on file.
We'll add that to the new business.
Yeah. That's it, but I just wanted to know our fire department is getting recognized outside of our township, which is good. I don't know what the Modern Woodmen are of America, but we'll take it.
Are there any other additions or corrections to the agenda? Okay, so can we have a vote as to approve the agenda as amended? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you all very much. We have an agenda. We will now go enter public comment. As I indicated, both folks will be given 3 minutes to make a comment. Comments are addressed to the chair, which would be myself. We would ask you to provide your first and last name and indicate whether or not you're a resident of the township. Comments are to be of a topical nature, but no personal attacks will be tolerated. Are there any public comments? Sir.
I want to talk about Jim Sperling.
No, sir.
This is not harsh against him. This is the truth. And
Sir.
the township board and the taxpayers need to know about it.
Point of order. Sir, you have voiced yourself several times. I understand. If you have another comment, you're welcome to engage. Are there any other public comments? Sir?
I'm not giving my name or my address, nothing. Y'all know who I am. I'm going to tell you right now, you're in a violation of OMA. You guys have to vote on limiting the public's time to speak before you can say that's what it is. Quick Google search will tell you that. You guys have to vote on it. And stopping this gentleman from talking during his public comment, that's another violation of the First Amendment. He has the right to come up here and voice and say whatever he wants. You guys don't have to answer. Plain and simple. If you don't like it, resign, because it's going to be happening. People are going to voice their opinion to you guys, how they think about you, what they think about you, and they're going to say what they want to. I can stand up here and say fuck, shit, fuck all day for my 3 minutes once you vote on it. You can't do a damn thing about it.
Any other public comment? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Beth Peggy, yes, I'm a resident, and I want to know what was wrong with the free little library. Why you're gonna remove it.
Any other public comment? Yes, sir.
You've gotta be kidding me. I got no answer. I asked you a question.
Yes, sir.
My name is Mike Weaver. I am a resident of Edenville Township. Thank you, veterans, for keeping us free and safe. Recently, the state of Michigan passed its budget. And in that budget, they allotted $9.8 million towards the dam reconstruction. While we're thankful for every penny we get, that is a drop in a bucket for what is needed. And as you well know, I feel that I say we, I'm not even affected by this, but the people in the SAD have been run through the ringer and they've not been represented, in my opinion. And I would love to get a hold of any of the legal counsel who are representing these people. I have some information that they might find useful in their litigation against the state of Michigan. And part of that deals with the errors that were made by the IFT. And I found out that what the error is I believe that they have used the wrong reservoir level at 3,660 acres of and the reality is 2,270 acres. That difference, when they used that wrong lake elevation, they got the wrong numbers. This is my opinion. The powerhouse would have given 2.1 foot reduction in the lake level, whereas the IFT report said 1.1 feet, etc. I'm running low on time. My name is Mike Weaver. Phone number is 989-687-5. The legal folks, what was his name? Ben Johnson, other people, send your legal folks, call me. I will gladly tell you what I know about the dam and how we can help litigate for the people of the SAD to reduce the expenses that they're incurring. Thank you for your time.
Any other public comment? Yes, ma'am.
I want to take a moment to respond to the letter I received from Art regarding continuing serving on the planning committee. In that letter, you stated that you assumed I no longer wanted to serve because of my strong criticism of the administration and what you called my public attacks toward you. I want to make it very clear, I do not personally attack you. What I did was ask for clarification about what coffee with the council actually meant. It did seem to match your definition when when I was campaigning for you. When I asked, you said I had several meetings. But it can't have several meetings. Not if you expect the public to understand, participate, and trust the process. At the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the year, and again, when Tim and I visited you at your home after you quit the board and then rejoined, you told me you supported me continuing another term with the planning committee. But now, after I asked questions, disagreed with some of your actions, you've decided to remove me. That sends a clear message that only those who never question or disagree with you are welcome to serve. That's not how leadership works, and it is truly disappointing. What's also disappointing and frankly disheartening is the attempting to remove the free library. The little library is beautiful. It benefits our community. It encourages reading, connections, and kindness. Removing it because of your personal hatred towards Tammy Louie is simply wrong. Tammy, I want to personally thank you for the time, care, and effort you put into that project. I also want to thank Sharon Such. As Tammy mentioned, she helped with cleaning and preparing the books for the very first free book event we held here at the Swanton Hall. Your work matters, and it made a difference. And finally, Kathy, I'm asking you directly, please return the belongings that you took from Tammy. They are not yours, and keeping them is not right. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Yes, ma'am.
Jim, before I make my public comment, I'd like to tell you the modern woodman.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
I'm going to speak.
No,
The
ma'am,
modern
you
woodman
can
is a
address the
fraternal-
chair. You cannot address other members.
Art, you can let Jim know the Modern Woodman is a fraternal financial organization that gave a grant of $200 to the Little Free Library just recently. And in looking for other ways to help our community, they have decided to talk with the fire department, but that's who they are. They are a company in Midland out on Joe Mann Boulevard. I picked up a $200 check from them today for expenses with the Little Free Library. So my comment, I have a couple of questions. I'd like to know why Dr. Starkey was not appointed to the Wixom Lake Improvement Board when she requested it. After branding Terry Hall as incompetent and calling for his resignation, it's disingenuous, Art, that you would recommend Hall on the board, especially given other options such as Dr. Starkey or retired Dow engineer Irvin Potts with all of his expertise in that area. It feels as if you're intentionally sabotaging the township. I'd like to know why Jim Wiseman was appointed to the Board of Review and Planning Commission with his predisposition for zoning changes to allow short-term rentals and event venues in residentially zoned areas, both to his personal benefit. I question if this person can act in the interest of all Edenville residents. Not only was his property apparently used out of compliance and failed to be fairly assessed, Mr. Wiseman accepted over $227,000 from the Paycheck Protection Program during COVID after he had been foreclosed and his business shut down. He was somehow able to report it in a way that got the loan forgiven. Then he moved to Sterling Heights, opened another restaurant and bar. Were Mr. Wiseman's dealings investigated by our board before his appointment? If not, please do it now and make that report public. Art, in May of 2024, you told the public that you supported maintaining current parks, but, quote, do not endorse the wasteful expansion of the park system, unquote. You and Kathy both told me the same thing at an MTA lunch in September of 2024. Then on November 7th, 2024, you invited me to a private lunch where you reversed your stand, telling me you were going to move forward with the $1 million park project because, quote, the prior board gave their word, unquote. I think you owe the township taxpayers an explanation for your flip-flop. I'm asking that the Vanderbush project be put on hold until a time that the township needs and can financially afford $1 million park. Why has the township not put the vacant Ingham property lots up for sale? I've had many residents in that neighborhood where I live ask me that. And Art, what is the project description and information, including justification for the dollars being spent to support the, quote, 11.0 financial model, unquote, from August 16th, 2025, for placing water improvement assessment on the December 2025 tax bills? You voted in May to treat the existing 2006 SAD as an implicitly perpetual SAD when it seems preposterous to say that a lake improvement assessment in 2006 would fit the present status of our lake improvement needs. In your words, Art, a rekindle of a plan from 20 years ago, and that's just not reality. I would like to know the time and dollars that were spent trying to prevent the Make a Difference in the Community Day book giveaway at the Little Free Library last month. After receiving permission from the former hall manager, the Methodist Soup Supper organizer, the event at our Edenville charter was communicated to this board, funded by donors and staffed by volunteers. Yet you spend an unknown amount of time and money stealing and concealing the decor, paying for an attorney to compose and send an email, an overnight United Parcel Service air letter, and a United States Postal Service letter. They were all addressed to me with dishonest statements,
Your
and I
time is
had
up,
not
ma'am.
received permission when in fact I
3
had.
minutes are up.
The saddest, most disrespectful thing came when
Please
our
be quiet.
longtime, hardworking hall manager resigned rather
Jamie,
than be
please be
complicit
quiet.
in your lies and theft.
Please be quiet.
I think he got more than
Are
3
there any
minutes. I
more?
timed you. You got more than 3, but I didn't. That's okay.
You got 4.
Yeah.
You did.
But he was,
Well,
she was
so we got more than 3. you got
Okay,
more than
guys, let's keep
Yeah.
it quiet.
So, more than 3 is more than 3.
That's 2. Number 3, and I'm going to ask you to leave. Please leave the meeting, Tammy. You're being disruptive.
I didn't
She's
do anything
not.
that was disruptive.
It's disrespectful and disruptive.
All about a King Art.
No, he's
Continue
right.
your meeting, Art.
She's being out of order.
Sir,
David Blumka, Edenville resident. First time ever at a meeting, just dipping my toe in. I'd like to congratulate the chair on what seems to be a seat big enough to hold that ego. I'm just now dipping my toe in, like I said, to the political climate of whatever you wanna call this here. Yeah, we'll go with joke. Like I said, don't know anything about it, but I do know you guys don't belong on there. From everything I've seen, everything I've read, I won't speak on anything I don't know, anything I haven't researched. From what I do know, it's not right. So if anybody here is willing to help me, I will go to whatever extent I can. I will have at least one of your jobs. Because someone needs to speak up for the little guy. And that's all Edenville is a bunch of little guys. We can all parade around in nice suits, but at the end of the day, we're working class people, and we can't afford your bullshit. Ms. Ludi, I think you and I could agree on 99%.
I have recompetition started.
Excuse me,
We'll get together.
sir. Comments addressed to the chair.
Oh, my bad, I thought this was a public meeting.
Maybe if you're gonna politics, figure out how it works.
That's the end of my comments. Thanks for your time. Nice chair.
Yes, sir.
My name's Terrence Hall. I'm a resident. I took a minute to look over your agenda prior to coming and I made some points I wanted to address. One is the county letter reference to science property. 2 points on that. One, I'm in favor that the township not abandon the property because it's right adjacent to Harper Park and could be connected. Right. But the second point on that is the owner of that science property sits on our board of review. And I don't think it's right that somebody who either doesn't pay their taxes or can't pay their taxes sits as a board of review member on other people. So you have the legal document. She let the property go. She shouldn't be on the board of review. Secondly, I noticed that we're talking about some changes in our wonderful fire department, especially concerning the assessment changes. And I would ask that maybe we look at combining with other local fire departments before we go and double our current assessment. The fire department is very crucial and they're good, hardworking people. But with all the people we got already working together between our fire departments, there might be a way to do it, saving money and running less vehicles. Third, as to the removal of the free little library. If I'm not mistaken, I heard that somebody got paid $200 for putting the library there, and I don't believe they're being charged for it to be there. One. Two, the little library is not free. It obviously comes with strings, just like all the nice new tables and chairs that were here in the Edenville Township Hall at one time. So a gift is a gift. Something with strings is just an attempt to manipulate and control. So I'm in favor of us getting rid of it and letting a private owner put it on their private property. I think that'd be a great place for it. Mm-hmm. And then the fourth thing I wanted to talk about, you're going to talk about Swan Hall and rentals. I didn't see any mention of specifically how to handle nonprofit rentals, especially ones that have reoccurring meetings. And I would humbly suggest that if you let them do the deposit at the beginning of the year, then they would just pay the meeting fee as time goes by, and the deposit only get deducted if damage or something occurs. That way you ain't coming every month with $300. You just do the $200, the township holds on to it, and then the HOA can pay $100 or the Boy Scouts or whoever, and just renew that each year. Do I still have time?
We have about 30 seconds left, sir.
All right, 30 seconds left. So again, I want to say I appreciate the information that you put out. The fella that come in to make a statement that thought he was going to run for politics needs to learn how meetings are held and how public comment works. And the one thing I didn't mention, and I'll end with this, I am so glad that the township is taking serious the threats from the individuals and the legal actions that have been taken by the township have occurred.
Is there any other public comment? Yes, sir.
It's not really a public comment. My name's Scott Holzinger. I'm the sheriff here in Midland County. It's unfortunate I have to be here, but I'm happy to be here. I grew up just next door over in Hope. So, you know, these small township living type situations hit home for me. I just wanted to give you perspective of the sheriff's office quick as you move forward with your meeting. You see one of our deputies is here as well. After your 3 minutes are up, you don't have the right to interrupt. I'm not here to take sides, okay? You all get 3 minutes to make your public comment. After that, you don't have the right to interrupt the open business of this meeting. So if that occurs and you're asked to leave, we will decide whether or not you're going to leave. I don't want to do that. It's government. We want to be able to sit here and agree to disagree and voice your opinion and everything that that entails. But once your 3 minutes is up, that's where it ends. So I'm just putting that out there.
Is there any other public comment? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm Jill DeBrain. I am a resident of Edenville Township. I have a couple different things. Rumor has it that the Swanton Hall might be closing down for a few months come January for renovations or anything. The fire department did put on there that we are looking to have our soup supper at Swanton Hall on the 14th. And it was on the dates information that was given to you guys when you guys took over. So if that is the case, I would like to know ahead of time because we've already filled out the paperwork that includes the location and the date for our raffle that we always had. And I know, Kim, that you were wanting to get involved with the Swanton Hall and stuff like that. So I really hope you will let us know if it won't be able to be done because the paperwork's already been sent in. On the other note is a free little library. I didn't know it was on the agenda today until I got looking at it earlier today. Just from a personal grandma, I bring my kids up here to it. They love coming up to the library. They use it frequently. I know the last function I do know through My Michigan, because I worked with My Michigan, they got some donated books and things from this last Saturday. So that was a big deal with the OB unit and stuff like that. If it is something that the reason why everybody's fighting over the stupid thing is childish, it's immature, we're all adults, let's be adults. If you don't want her to be in charge of it, I'd be happy to sign up for it. So it would be taken out of her hands or do whatever, if it's an issue with that, because I know we need it covered. It's in a great location, it's covered, this is a public building. You know, I know many, many people that come up and use it. So just let me know about the 14th situation so we can figure that out.
Is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment? At 6:58, public comment is closed. All right, moving on to item number 9, approval of the 10:25 coffee with council minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any corrections, additions, amendments? Hearing none, those in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you very much. Item number 10, treasurer's report. Kathy?
Okay, I gave you a copy this evening. We'll go over just a few points. I numbered the rows, easier to find. So number 1, general fund checking. Our new balance ending October 31st is $54,000. That includes receipts of $49,000 revenue sharing. We receive that about 6 times a year. Not that exact amount, but around there. And then row 2, or number 2, sorry, line 2. You'll see that in the disbursements, there were $82,000 going out of township checking, excuse me. And part of that includes the solid waste transfers of money coming out of MI class. And you'll notice that as we go down here, And I'm gonna move down to the tax row number 4. You can see that disbursements that went out of tax were $846,000. And I note that because as we go to the bottom, you'll see that the totals are down as far as ending balance goes. Now, in the tax fund right now, our ending balance as of October 31 is $37,000. And that is holding, I'm holding in there the administration fee that we collect as we do with taxes. So there's about $11,000 in there that has not been moved over to township operations yet. Let's see, and then you can see hasn't been much activity there in cemetery. The fire operation, they're pretty low this month. And then on down to, let's look at number 12, row number 12, Swanton Fund. No, let's go up one. No, Swanton's right, excuse me. Row number 12, Swanton Fund checking. So you can see in there in the receipts, there are $1,700. And that was $1,500 of that was the amount that the facilities manager had collected before he resigned. And so that deposit was a little larger than normal. Let's see, moving on down, again, row 14, solid waste fund. You can see there that we received the $10,200 come over from the investment account for solid waste. And the disbursement for the payment to Republic was $16,000 there in the disbursement, and that ending balance is $6,800. However, after this report, we moved an amount over to pay Republic of $6,700. So today's balance is $28.98. So going forward, we'll be using some money out of township. All right, and then the ending balance of our bank accounts for October 31 is $596,827. And moving down to the investments, starting in row 17, again, interest earned there in column F. Oh, no, interest earned in the October interest column. You can see there. And then line 20 is again showing that solid waste disbursement coming out of that investment. The grand total of all accounts, ending balance October 31 is $1,711,000. For the Swanton Trust Fund, row 24, I did not get the statement in time to add it to this. And then let's jump down to row 25. That's our tax collection. You can see that we have approximately 369 parcels remaining for collection. With a remaining balance of $104,000. I would like to note on the revenue sharing, we had heard in early October that there was going to be a change due to the legislation. Michigan State voted to reduce what they would be sharing with townships. It was going to be about 6.3%, and affecting Edenville Township, it would have been a reduction for the year coming up of over $12,000. Well, as things progressed here over the month, on October 13th, I got a new chart that said it would only be reduced by $6,700. And then just recently, it's now dropped to $5,400, so that's not bad at all. So they changed that from just a month ago, no, yeah, a month ago. Just wanted to update that. That's it.
Can I ask a question? So Kathy, the amount of money
Could you
that,
speak up, please?
yes, sorry, Kathy, the amount of money that we're taking from the general fund to cover temporarily for the assessment, when we collect those tax dollars, that will be reimbursed to the general fund, is that right?
Solid waste.
Solid
is what
waste,
you're
sorry.
referring to?
Yes.
Okay, yes,
The
yes,
68
yes,
or
Thank you for pointing
6.7.
that out.
Okay,
Yes.
so that will be, at a later date, will be updated about that, okay,
yes, as we go, absolutely.
thank you.
To keep us from being in a deficit, should we make a transfer to that? Because we have the funds. We do not want to see deficit on this. Should we transfer money into that account? And we know we got it coming back in December. Would that be a wise move?
Into the solid waste, you mean?
Yes.
We have a 6,000.
Yeah, well, we just go down to
Yeah, we're down to $28.
$20.90, because there's another bill that came in.
But we shouldn't have another bill, right?
So next one.
Once a month.
Plus in January, we'll have another landfill fee
Before,
really before things start coming in.
should we transfer, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't transfer until we know what the exact amount is though. Instead of estimating. I understand what you're saying. I get what you're
I
saying.
don't wanna see a deficit, but we have the money in savings. We made $2,500 in interest, okay? So we can only make 2,000, we transfer out $20,000 or $30,000 balance, we're always gonna get that back. So when taxes start
I
coming.
think right now it's just kind of where do we want to accumulate the deficit on the solid waste account? Do we put it into a fund transfer to solid waste and then pay it back later, and I think that's kind of what we're talking about, or do we just want to keep it in the general fund and then we collect what the general fund is paid on behalf
What we have to
of?
move,
Yeah, instead of we just pay from the general fund what we owe for our bills, and then we just collect that on behalf of solid waste.
Is that easier to track from your end?
well, we already
That
moved
makes sense.
$10,000 out, right?
Well, and quite frankly, for this last bill, we had to borrow, so to speak, from the township, $6,795. So that's our first overreach.
No, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Any other questions for the commissioners report?
I would be in support of, not to contradict you, especially on Veterans Day, but only moving what we have to move.
Yeah,
that's.
So that it's a little bit easier to know exactly what we have to put back.
Okay.
That's just my perspective.
We put 10,200 in this month. That one figure right here on line 20. So we know we have to.
Can I have a motion to accept the report?
Moved, so moved.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. ARPA update, any news? I'm guessing not.
No change.
Okay. Cemetery report.
Okay. As far as stats go, pretty much, no new information except one headstone foundation was installed. The cleanup is continuing by volunteers, as well as markers being located and exposed. Jim has given us his word that the metal detectors will work through snow. So, and I guess that's all the news.
All right, let's move on to 10E1. Motion to hire a sexton. I understand you want to say something?
Yes, I would like to know that I have a conflict of interest on this topic, and I'm going to refrain from being part of the discussion with it, but thank you.
Kathy, why don't you?
Yes, for the sexton, position, we posted the job on the township website. We've interviewed applicants, and I would like to make a motion to hire Steve Dunkel as our next sexton, reporting to the treasurer.
Second.
Who did the interviews? No,
Jim and
who-
I.
Who conducted?
Kathy and I.
Jim and I.
All right, any other questions by the board?
I don't mean to, I just, are those supposed to be made public? Those interviews, or is it allowed to just conduct? Okay.
All right, since we're
Google is a very powerful tool nowadays.
we're making a move that will spend some money, we'll do a roll call vote. Ken, can I ask you to do the roll call vote, please?
Yes, please. Kate Peters,
Yes.
A. Peters,
Yes.
Sperling,
Yes.
Starkey,
Yes.
All right, motion passes 4-0. Moving on to item number 11, clerk's report. Kim?
We have a couple of items of official correspondence tonight. The first letter I'm going to be reading is from Bob Yormek, and I hope I said his name correctly. This is addressed to the Edenville Township Board regarding multiple items. I am not able to attend your meetings due to prior commitments on those nights. I have several items I would like the board to consider. 1, change the speed limit to 35 miles per hour. This present speed limit slows the traffic to 55 or faster at a 45-mile-an-hour limit. I live in the first house on the right, Old Bait Shop, as you're heading south. Over my time here, I've had 2 motorhomes hit, a vehicle go into the house, clear into my bedroom. A person was killed a number of years ago after running into the old barber shop. My neighbor had his SUV sideswiped recently. Most of these caused by entering the suggestive 35-mile-an-hour curve way too fast. We now have Dollar General, which adds more traffic entering and leaving to M30. 2, place no downshifting signs on north and south side of town. The Jake break is enough to wake the dead. 3, junk and unlicensed vehicles, recreation vehicles, boats, and motor homes, to name a few. Looking in the ordinance, I find no reference to blight. Is there a part I miss? The parties that are the major offenders have been for years. You're quite familiar with these individuals. Nothing has been done to finalize a solution. In the Edenville mission statement, one of the tenets is to promote prosperity. I live next door to one of these properties that is a mockery. Options from the board, my view, resolve the issue, change the mission statement, receive the subject of the ordinances, or throw this piece of paper in the garbage. Respectfully yours, Barb Yarmouth. Second piece of correspondence is from the County Treasurer's Office, Catherine Lunsford. It's addressed to the clerk. Dear Kimberly, the Office of the Midland County Treasurer foreclosed on property code 010-400-600-600-00 West Curtis Road on March 31, 2025 for unpaid property taxes. The property was offered for sale at public auction in August and remained unsold. It was reoffered for sale in September and still remained unsold. Public Act 123 of 1999 states that a property that remains unsold after the final public auction will be transferred to the unit in which the property is located on December 30th, immediately succeeding the date of the final auction. The property referenced in this letter will be transferred to the Township of Edenville on December 30th, 2025, unless the township objects to the transfer of this property in writing to the Midland County Treasurer prior to that date. If the township declines to transfer the property, the Midland County Treasurer will retain the property, possession of the property, and all taxes and assessments for 2025 shall be canceled. Please respond to me in writing of your decision to transfer or not transfer the property to the township. Please contact me if you should have any questions related to this matter. Sincerely, Catherine L. Lunsford. And in your packet, you should have a copy of a GIS plot, county GIS plot showing the piece of property, which is directly across from Harper Park. So we're going to be looking for a motion to act on the county treasurer letter, whether we will abandon or retain the property. So motion to act on the county treasurer letter regarding the Sias property. Edenville will or will not abandon the parcel formerly owned by the Siases that failed to sell at the county land auction. And I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, what are you gonna motion?
Move to, well, I think we should discuss. I would actually like to retain the property, will not abandon.
So you're moving to not abandon property formerly owned. Okay. Do I have a second?
Just for discussion.
Yep.
Why do we need it?
Now that we have a motion and a second, Jim, you threw a question on the floor.
I second the motion, but I wonder, why do we?
Well,
need
no,
it?
that's,
Yeah.
Do you know what it will cost us? Do we have an approximation of the assessment, taxes?
The taxable
Why?
value was $5,200 stated on the property, and let's see.
5,200 just for the
And,
taxes? Just making sure I'm hearing that.
Taxes, base tax was, the taxes were $614.43.
So the 5,200 is the assessment?
that's the assessment.
That's the 23 winner.
23.
So this is 2024.
What would we do with it?
It's 14.
What would you do with it?
Well, that's a real good question. It is across from Harper Park. It could be used for maybe a kayak landing. One of the problems that I do see with the property, even though I said we should retrain it, is accessibility from West Curtis Road or Niner Road.
From what I understand, you'd have to have some sort of easement. from
You would
the
have
private property
to,
owners
unless
who
there's an
own those surrounding
easement that already exists, which I'm not sure that has been fully investigated. We do have an easement already.
Look at this drawing, it's 1040 landlocked. The parcel. This
Yeah.
owner, this owner, this owner, well, they don't have easement. Unless they have a deeded easement, we need to figure that out before going further.
Okay,
If we had a deeded easement, it might be a valuable piece of property. If there's no deeded easement, let's not spend any money. You know, because we'll never be able to
Even
use
if there's
that.
easement, even if there is an easement access, the amount that it would cost us and what we're proposing in other projects that we have
You know,
ongoing.
that's the
And we're
first thing you
looking at
need to
our
figure out.
numbers that we were just looking at on the treasurers, I have a pretty
So
serious
may I
reservation.
make an amended motion? Table this until we get information from
And what
The
the county
easement.
about
after
the
buy cost would be,
easement
total
and
buy
then-
cost.
Yes, including the 4 Lakes capital assessment and operational assessment. So we have that for now. December meeting.
If it will be accessible. But that has to be on there too.
I'm sorry.
The lake assessment has to be on there, what that would cost the township.
Do I have a second for my table motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
It's Veterans Day, you got it.
Those in favor of tabling, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it, we're tabling, we'll come back and revisit this in December. But thank you for bringing that up. Getting us to where we want to be. 11B, review of bills.
Once again, we had bills for the month of October, this we were paying in September. Multiple bills have been paid out, and we expended approximately $99,800 this month in bills since the last review of bills, and nothing out of the ordinary, really.
Do I have a motion to pay bills?
Second motion.
No,
Motion to pay the bills?
you making the motion?
I made a motion. One second. This is we're spending money?
Any more conversations?
We'd like Chris and I were talking just prior to the meeting, we both reviewed this new paperwork. And it flows. Once you get through the first how to flow it flows well, right? Okay, but I think we both agreed it worked a lot better than the previous things we looked at. Even previously what you had. Okay, this is flowing much better.
Good, good. That's what we're working for. Thank you.
So can we have a roll call since we're spending some money?
Okay, Hauser, yes. Kay Peters? Yes. Kay Peters?
Yes.
Sperling?
Yes.
Starkey? Yes. Thank you.
Paying bills.
So I apologize for not getting the financial report out with the packet. I do have it with me tonight. This is a continued of budget to actuals. And what I have done is I collapsed July through September, which I presented last month, focused on October. Again, as expected, revenues are running, we have not really accrued revenues earned revenues during this time frame. Most of our revenues will start coming in when our property taxes are collected. However, we do still continue to operate and have bills. And as you can see, we are still running about what we were at the end of September. We're a little, we're still probably on course to meet our projected budget, deficit of $200,000 right now. Still continued in the red category, overspent at 40 or having spent 48% of its budget is the cemetery. The lake SAD, 80% of the budget, and the water district 78% of its budget. The money from the $27,000 is not reflected in this report.
And when you say that we're above projected, that's assuming a linear distribution.
A
of
linear
spending,
distribution,
which
right?
is not the case for these, because we've actually incurred all the expenses.
Now,
For the
exactly.
majority, I think cemeteries still may have plowing.
Right. And cemetery is going to be based, of course, on how much plowing will be done and things like that, which we'll talk about later.
The 27,000 you quoted is going to be assessed to the property, right? That's the one.
The 27,000 will go into the lake SAD
No.
funds, the waterway funds. Yeah. And then if I remember correctly, roughly 25,000 of that is owed back to the general fund. Pick up the shortfall.
Any questions for the financial reports? Hearing none. I have not received any board of review update, but I will mention we will have a meeting in December. That'll be the second Tuesday, same night as our board meeting. That'll be held over at the office in Swanton. the township office, and that will be at 5:30. Meeting notice has already gone up on the website for the time change for that. Fire chief report. Roger, can I ask you to come closer, because we've had some comments that folks can't hear you.
You
from
can't,
the recording.
I'm sorry. I'm not a person that likes to talk.
You got important things to say.
Well, you have, for October, you had 18 calls, 9 medical calls, 2 fires. That's like grass fires, car fires, whatever we had. You had 1 PI, 1 PDA. You had 2 investigations, and we had 3 call-offs. Trucks are being sent to CSI for pump test and service. I have 231 that just came back. It didn't pass its pump test, but we can still use it as for grass fires, car fires. We just can't use it for internal attack. Just let you know. Then 222, we sent that up. There's some issues with that right now. We have a antifreeze leak and a filter that's plugged. So I told them to fix it because I got to have that truck. Also, we had 2 calls to 270 Baker Road. Last time we were there, we gave them a smoke detector. They took the smoke detector down because it was beeping all the time. I feel that that's something that I don't know who would look at that. It's a very dangerous place. The wires are hanging out of the walls. If it wasn't for the dogs, they would never got out. No, they'd get caught on fire. It's very unsafe even for us to go in. Also, last night at the fire department, the fire department voted me back in as fire chief again. So, just to let you know. And if you look at Facebook, they've got me on here for over 25 years as fire chief here. So just to let you guys know. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I did not hear any museum report. Get any input from the museum? See the museum person. The OEO report. Greg Eagle, our ordinance enforcement officer, has had a busy month. He is unable to attend tonight. He asked me to give a report in his stead. Last month, we had a court order to clean up the parking property. We put bids on the township website, and at the end of the solicitation period, we selected a vendor and they conducted the cleanup. We understand it was quite extensive. I see that we removed here 5 automobiles, 4 of which have to be scrapped because they had so much mold and infestation of rodents in them. We had reports of them going to food banks, getting food, and just keeping them in the cars. Pretty rough situation. We had 4 motorcycles removed, various yard equipment, a watercraft, a couple of tarps. If you drive by, we had several dozen lead acid batteries, coolers, tarps, bicycles, totes, compressors, wheelbarrows. If you look at the property now, it is a whole lot cleaner. Smells a lot better than it did. And just want to, again, express thanks to Greg for the work that he and his team did. And the contractor did a very nice job cleaning things up. Any money they get from scrapping that material will go to offset the cost. The balance of that cost will go onto his winter tax bill. We're tallying up all the costs, so it will be legal fees, cleanup costs, and ordinance enforcement time. That will then be entered in to an order that will go on the winter tax bill. So we're hoping to get that done in the next week or so. I know we have a hearing back before the judge in a couple of weeks to review progress on that. That was the majority of his report to us. I'm not nearly as eloquent as Greg, but I would say any questions.
It looks good. It looks a lot of improvement.
I drove by it, does look much better.
Midnight.
Nothing new from Parks and Rec. Planning Commission.
We're working on our master plan. It's to be done by law every 5 years. It's a pretty thorough document. We held a focus group a month or so ago, gathered data, putting all of that together. So we'll be having additional meetings coming up to finalize that process, and it's a guiding document, so it's important if you hear about, upcoming meetings and you'd like to have your voice heard. It's a guiding document for the township for the next 5 years, possibly longer. The next 5 years, he doesn't make many changes, so please let me know or Dan Allen if you're interested in having your voice heard about what you'd like our township to look like in the future.
Thank you, Kristen.
When the next meeting?
December 8th. Right here.
6
Okay,
p.m.
I'm just glad I knew December 8th. I'd have to check.
6 p.m.
6
Okay.
p.m.
I had to look that up earlier.
Okay.
Zoning Administrator, sir, any comments?
It's kind of slowed down a little bit, but got any cold weather, people aren't building, so I think everything's going good.
And Jim, anything from the ZBA?
Well, other than the chair's not here, but we did have a zoning training session over in Frankenmuth. We had 4 of us registered, 3 of us went. As always, MTA training, they keep your head spinning every time they give you orders under orders. But it's, if you don't go, you lose the knowledge. Okay, the whole day session, it worked out good. There's the 3 of us who walked away there. And there's some things we need to get back up to, even our own personal well-being, to make sure we're doing what they're asking us to do, and keeping track on all the new laws that are doing in Lansing that affect us in zoning. And these guys too, it affects planning, if we don't keep up on those things. Because it was zoning and planning together. And they had one attorney who spoke for about 3 hours straight without taking a break on just moving a house. We don't have a whole lot of moving houses, but the larger villages and towns have, they move houses from one property to another. It takes a whole lot to do that. And all the permitting you have to do, not only with the state and the police and everybody to move the lines and everything. I'm glad we don't have a whole lot of that, but they spent a good couple of hours on that, but it was interesting to listen to it. That's about it. Okay. That was on October 30th.
Excellent. Grant update. I know this is kind of our handoff. Crystal, you're handing that off to Kim. Kim, do you have any?
Nothing right now. I guess now with, once the government opens, we'll hear about the FEMA, AFG. And when that's, but right now it's looking at probably latter part of January.
You guys asked me to work with Fire Chief on a capital equipment update. I've included that in the packet as we walk through it. I want to thank Roger for the time to sit down and review some things. We got some easy things to work through, and then some tough calls that we're gonna have to look at, and some stuff we're gonna have to look at and deal with in the future. Of immediate importance, we've got a prioritized list of things that need to be done. Some easy things. We know that in the next year, we're gonna need 1 new set of turnout gear. We'll probably need to procure that in the summer. Fortunately, there is a DNR grant that's available for that, and that's a 50-50 matching grant. And Roger's gonna work with you, Kim, on making sure we get that paperwork done correctly. We can get that covered. We believe that that'll be covered out of our operating expense budget. We have a number of consumables, gloves, shovels, sweatshirts, other things. And again, that'll be covered, we believe, on the operating expense budget, no problem. We talked about the need for hoses. Hoses, while not really consumable every year, they seem to get banged up. They have a shelf life. They have to be tested annually. And so we've agreed that we'll order something on the order of 5 new hoses every year. They're about $200 each. And that will keep us in what we hope to be a good supply of working 1 3/4 and 2.5 inch hoses for that. And what we'll do is we'll work with the fire department. If they feel like they're getting a surplus or they actually get ahead of the wear and tear, we'll just hold off a year. But that way, what we're doing is we're constantly renewing things and it doesn't bite us at any point in time. We do have an ouch coming up. Within the next year, we're gonna need some tires. My understanding that even with some very good horse trading and thrifty shopping, it's still gonna be about a $40,000 kind of investment. And we'll have to plan for that, and that'll be next year, probably in the first half. Those are kind of the easy things. We've got some more difficult things to talk about. In the next year, we're going to need to purchase 14 new self-contained breathing apparatus sets, SCBAs, and then 1 rescue and breather. That's gonna total somewhere between $170,000 and $200,000. I know we've been fortunate in the past to work with and get some good procurement on that. We're hoping we can continue to work that way. They have about a 10-year life expectancy, so just for our earmarking, we have to realize that's about $20,000 a year over 10 years that we need to accrue going forward. As I understand it, Raj, these are currently certified to the year standards they were made, but if we were using the brand new standards for brand new gear, they would be challenged to pass. So we're legal now, but it wouldn't be the current standards.
You're looking at 15 years for air packs. And like I said, we bought those back in '99. So you're looking, we've been babying them along because I know we had some issues, but I knew we couldn't afford to buy stuff like that.
When those get replaced, we're also gonna need a new compressor. Compressors go for about $100,000 on that. We have a truck, 221, which is a pumper truck. It is 29 years old, and it is, as the finance folks would say, a fully depreciated asset. It is beyond end of life and cannot serve as a legal Class A fire truck. We are able to use it, but it has to be used to the backup capacity. And while it is fully functional at the time of the meeting, it needs constant maintenance. It sounds like that's got a pump problem again, and we've got to keep some work on that. We just need to know that it should be sunsetted. Our new pumper, which was purchased a year and a half ago, is 11 years old, and it's only allowed to be considered a Class A machine for another 4 years, maybe 5 if we're lucky. And Diana, Roger, we believe we can maybe stretch that a little bit, but we will need to definitely stay on top of preventative maintenance for this device. Kind of an interesting note, and I don't mean to bore you guys, but I learned that our tanker trucks are also both well-aged, but there is not the same stringency on our tankers. And so as long as we keep them functioning, we ought to have another 10, maybe as many as 15 years, but they will at some point need to be replaced. I also understand that they are different than the other tankers in the county in that they are shorter, Roger, and therefore they can go places the others can't. They can't haul as much water, but they can be used where others can't. So they are in some ways kind of valuable from that vantage point.
We carry 2,500 gallons of water on the single axle. We can turn those around on a dime with those.
So hang on for your cold shower facts. If we use the capital funds in the MI class for the fire department and the capital assessment, we're going to be collecting this January, we're still gonna need a subsidy from the general fund of on the order of $20,000 to $50,000 to cover the shortfall just for the self-contained breathing apparatuses. And so we're gonna be looking at probably once that money comes in the winter tax collection season, to be moving forward with something like that. Depending on when we purchase the tires, probably also gonna need to hit the general fund for $40,000 to cover the tire replacement that needs to be done on, the truck needs the new tires. We will, as we look at our GAA next year, we need to definitely consider looking at what our capital assessment millage is. Jim, I know you had talked about maybe we could look at trying to raise it this fall. That's not possible. I've done some checking and we're just not able to do that right now. Good news is we can replace the SCBA gear in the spring. Assuming we don't have a catastrophic failure between now and then, we'll get ourselves up to current standards for that. Now for kind of the tough conversation, new pumper trucks are entry level, $950,000 and easily $1.5 million. With that, we're going to need a plan. I'm going to suggest to have somewhere on the order of $1.25 million for a new pumper in the 7-year horizon. I did some quick financial modeling for folks here. If we raise our capital assessment for that, that will generate an additional $175,000 and can get us about $700,000 accumulation in a 3 to 7 year time frame. So we're just gonna have to look and think about what we do here. I know several of you have reached out to me privately with some thoughts and ideas, grants we can chase down and other things. No action is needed now. This is more of just an informational report. But some of you have given me some homework and I'm gonna go turn over some rocks. Any questions from you guys?
Not a question, I talked about Jerome, the village, us all surround the lake, and so does DNR. We need to get them involved. Maybe they have equipment that, who knows, but we need to get them into a function with us and see what's available, maybe through their granting. The DNR is a lot bigger than we are statewide. So if we can get them to come to the table with the village and Sanford and Jerome and us, I think that's a good move. You know, get them into this. Let's have a meeting.
You were one of my homework assignees, so yeah.
Get the fire chiefs involved, get the DNR fire chief, they got one down at Station in Sanford. Let's get them all together, get their heads, because they may have hoses that's laying around, they're not using. You know, and I seen their truck go, that truck doesn't move too fast, it goes up 30 every now and then. That old truck of theirs doesn't move fast, but we need to get everybody involved. We're talking this kind of money. That's a lot of money.
Just a question, are we for spring on the SCBA?
Because by then we will have received and collected the money from the winter tax. And that gives us.
Because I remember in our last meeting, Charlie mentioned.
When I talked to Roger, he said we were good. Yeah.
I remember Charlie mentioned something about a lower amount. Remember we had secured that or something, and so it just would be nice if we could maybe get that price in March or April.
Well, we're certainly gonna try.
What about the possibility of the compressor being used by at a group.
You're the other person who's giving me homework assignments, so yes, I am gonna be knocking on the doors of our neighboring townships to see if there are a consortia or something that we might be able to work together. And clearly, when it comes to those larger capital investments, that's something we'll be able to for.
They both had switches for new SCBA and not switches that passed. So that might be something to inquire how did they do that, where did they find the funds?
And you have to remember too, we have 2,500 people in our township. That's a small number to to cover expenses of this nature.
No, anyhow, like I said, that was, I appreciate the time the fire department gave us. We've got a list now, we've got kind of a appreciation schedule. And as Roger was very clear and very articulate with me, surprises do happen, so I'm not gonna tell you we won't hit other things along the way, but at this point in time, that's kind of the major things we see on the roadmap right now. New business, the Swanton Memorial Hall is our first major topic. Kim, I know you had said you were gonna try to get some financials. I know you've been busy, I don't know if you.
I did. I put some together this afternoon.
The ink is still dry.
The ink is still drying on it, yes. So this is, I just went back to July of 22 came, so that's basically 3 years plus this, not quite full, half a year. One of the things I was trying to factor in was the payroll expenses. In Swanton, there had been where you see the 086723 payroll expenses. Payroll had been captured a little bit, but then when you went back and looked at payroll by salary item that had been paid in the township, kind of did some math and you can see my worksheet on the next page, but I just basically said, this is how much we had spent in the township, which is the total July, or FY 23, which would have been ended June 30th, 23. In the township, we had 6267. What I did was made an assumption that 3670 of that was actually covered already in Swanton. So I just moved the balance roughly 2,600 over. So that did bring up, so really between the two over the three and third year period, salary payroll expenses were roughly 22,000 roughly. Other supplies seem to quite be consistent. Some of the things I did wanted to explore more was what the building improvements and the capital outlays were. And we had building improvements in FY 23 of 1623, no capital outlay. The building improvements were hall painting, new glass, and replacement of vanity top in a sink in one of the women's bathrooms. Looking forward to the next year, in FY 24, we had lighting upgrades, cabinet repairs. The big capital outlay on that was the pavilion that was built with Delta. And then the last year of any capital or any kind of major improvements were cabinet repairs that were continued in FY 25, and the balance of that was paid out. So that was what was listed there. Looking at the very back page, I was trying to get a sense of what kind of potential assets had happened, purchases had been added. And it's saying here that Swanton, the data surface of Swanton was 630.77. I know we had last meeting discussed that the township had was given to the township and it looked like in 91, but we had a new roof put on it in 2011. Soffits were replaced in 2018. I did not see anything about AC units or anything like that. So I think that's a big question. We did buy a refrigerator. It was less than $1,000. probably in most cases, that would be just a general expense for this fiscal year, but anyway, this is what we were showing, and as you mentioned about the fire truck, Swanton Hall has been fully depreciated and then some. The roof still has some life. The book method that they're using is what they call straight line depreciation. So nothing fancy there, which is just the value divided by the periods of life. So this is kind of an overview. In the period that's represented here, the 3 and a third years, the hall has lost roughly $44,000. Revenue-wise, I just want to call attention to the trust fund. You can see in FY '23, the trust fund was around 20,000. This past year it was 16,150. That's a pretty substantial drop in a short period of time. I don't know what the investment policies are of the company that is investing it for us, but that's a very interesting trend given what the stock market and other equities have done during the last 3 years.
Fixed asset.
I'm sure it's all fixed asset, you're right. So anyway, that's pretty much where we're at with it. And gives you some idea of what we've been earning rent income, again, 2,500, 4,200, 4,400 over the last three, 4 years. So a little bit up in FY '24 and FY '25, but it looks like it's pretty flat.
And just, this is the time for questions. So the 806,970 capital outlay that I see, $7,498 and $3,928. That was for cabinet repairs and pavilion, is that right?
Which number?
The 806-9, I'm sorry, 806-970, the capital outlay.
Right.
So my question is, that covered the cabinet repairs and the pavilion? I noticed that you cited that as a pretty major expense to the
Yeah,
town, so
that's pretty much it.
which is interesting to me, but I'm just curious, so do you have a breakdown of how much was the cabinet versus the pavilion?
Yeah, the pavilion was about, I think about 12, about the full amount. The cabinets were actually put up in building improvements that year, I believe. But I can, any of this, if you want the details, we can explode it out. I just didn't get into the nitty gritty on it. I just tried to summarize it.
Surprises.
There's a lot of material was what was purchased with what for the pavilion. And I think the cabinets total was almost 8.
Another one, yes.
So food for thought on what?
I think, first of all, thank you for pulling this together, because I know it's been a full month for you too. With the audit going on. And so I would say, guys, let's table this and think about it. I think we're gonna have to look at what we wanna do operating wise, realizing that at some point, and Jim, I know maybe in the next month, you and I might have a chance to walk through here and kind of look and assess the HVAC and some of the other things we had talked about. Just to kind of get a handle on things. For that.
Until December.
And yeah, come back in December and talk about this a little bit. So it, for the period then, what you're basically saying is we're spending just about 11,000 a year. We're subsidizing this 11,000.
Subsidizing it, yes.
And that's after the trust fund and runoff. All right, folks, as you understand, I did receive a resignation from our facilities manager. I've got to meet with Roger. Hopefully I can do that in the next week. I'll formalize some things and finalize some paperwork there. Talk about posting a new position. I will get a updated job description out. We'll take a look at that. And in the December timeframe, talk about posting for that.
Do we need to accept
Item 21A3 is the removal of the Free Little Library. As a follow-up to this, I have worked with our attorney. He has asked me to put the draft letter in the packet that will be entertaining a motion and sending out. I will read it for the board now. As you know, our firm represents Edenville Township. I am writing you this second letter in part as a follow-up to the letter that was sent to you on October 16th, 2025. It is attached as Exhibit A. Please carefully consider the content of this letter. Due to your continued threats of legal action and baseless out-of-context accusations about a township and its officials, the township is taking continued involvement with you seriously, and a litigation specialist has been assigned to monitor your statements and activities related to the township. Background. Number one, you disregard a prior letter from the township related to holding an unpermitted event. You may recall in the first letter that I notified you on behalf of the township that you had scheduled an event at Swanton Hall property simultaneously with another pre-scheduled event that reserves Swanton Hall property. You were informed based on township precedent that the township does not reserve multiple overlapping events to occur at its properties for reasons such as practicality, ensuring adequate parking. Despite the township's desire to amicably resolve your impermissible overlapping event issue, where you could have rescheduled an event that was going to be held over a week from the date of our letter, you decided to disregard the first letter and you held the event without township authorization. As you may know, Michigan Common Law 750.552 criminalizes trespass of persons on the lands of another without lawful authority to be on such lands. Order, please.
Yeah.
On lands after having been forbidden by the owner to be on such lands. Please be advised that any further unauthorized use of township properties will be fully investigated and may result in legal action against you or reports to an applicable law enforcement. Applicable law enforcement agencies have been sent a courtesy copy of this letter. Number two, because of your actions, it is unfeasible to work with you. Unfortunately, that will require removal of the Free Little Library as you yourself desired from Swanton Hall. While you disregarded the first letter, you then responded to me as well as township officials via email notifying several things, but specifically included, I plan to continue with the book giveaway, and after that, we'll be searching for a new placement for the Free Little Library, National Charter number 193962. Free Little Library. See October 17th, 2025 email, timestamped 5:56 a.m. Based on my understanding, the Free Little Library is essentially a mobile structure akin to a grandfather clock that has been modified to allow borrowing books. It has been placed on the Swanton Hall property. Note that under Michigan Common Law 41.2 parentheses 3, the township board may lease or convey, example, allow the use of its real property when such part of property is not needed for public purposes. As you have desired in written correspondence, we believe it would be best for both parties that you remove the Free Little Library from Swanton Hall property. Kindly consider this letter as a revocation of such allowance of keeping the Free Little Library on any township property without expressed authorization by the township board in the future. For you to appropriately find a new location for the improvement, you will have until December 5th, 2025 at 5 p.m. to remove it. Otherwise, the township may remove it for you. Although the township believes in the concept of the Free Little Library, it would be beneficial to the public. Your disheartening conduct and continued animosity has made it unfeasible to continue a voluntary relationship maintaining the improvement at the township. Number 3, your allegations of stolen property and accusation of township officials committing crimes are unfounded. While the township had hoped that your continued aggressive actions would cease after the above situation, they did not. Like the unauthorized event above, I understand that you, without discussions with the township board, see the statute above related to the use of public property, placed temporary fall decorations at the Swanton Hall facility. These decorations were placed without authorization from the township board. In any event, the decorations appeared temporary in nature and without context of what they were. For example, from your post, I'm aware of a flower display and metal pot. Given 1, the uncertainty as to why the decorations were placed without authorization at Swanton Hall, and 2, based on consistent practice that if things are left at public building without permission, they were removed, as the items in question were made of temporary decorations that are often disposed of after a season, such as fall decor sold in retail stores. There was no effort to try to determine the owner. Since the removal of the decorations referenced above, we have seen and saved various social media posts from yourself accusing various township officials of theft, misconduct, or other wrongdoing. You have also valued what appeared to be temporary fall decorations at $150, which is an exorbitant amount based on the pictures that you have publicly posted on Facebook. Last, you also appear to have made a demand for a voluntary mediation service with the Community Dispute Resolution Center, where you have made unsubstantiated, out of context allegation of township officials of stealing and concealing and holding stolen property. Your request for mediation will be disregarded. Similarly, you are requested to clarify in all reports you have made to law enforcement to include the important context that you have left items at a public place which you do not own, and cite the relevant statute above, Michigan Common Law 41.2, paragraph section 3, outlining needing township board authorization to provide permissions to use township property to house improvements. From reviewing the remainder of your social media posts on these issues, it appears your goal is to accuse certain township officials of crimes of other misconduct, presumably to try to entice them to resign from their positions. Your attempts to harass and intimidate the township and its officials will be vigorously defended against. You should be aware that your posts are being monitored. As you may know, constitutional protection under the First Amendment does not apply when you falsely accuse someone of a crime. First Amendment, Kevorkian versus AMA 237 Michigan.
False would be the key word.
Period 18602, 1999. Unprotected statements can be used as the basis of a defamation claim when, in summary, 1, a false and defamatory statement is made. 2, there is an unprivileged publication of statement to a third party. 3, there is at least negligence of the party of the publisher of defamatory statement. 4, either actionability of the statement irrespective of special harm, defamation per se, or existence of special harm caused by the publication, defamation per quote. You should note that your posts have outlined a motive for making false allegations against certain township officials. Thus, please govern yourself accordingly. 4, your aggressive and inflammatory actions against the township are a pattern of disconcerting conduct. Last, the heightened attention from our office to your interactions is warranted due to a pattern of inflammatory and concerning activities. The continued aggression toward the township, its officials appear to be related to your decision to resign as township clerk in late May of 2025. Prior to your resignation as township clerk, as you know, one member of the township board was distressed by you showing up at their home unannounced and looking into the home's windows. Similarly, prior to your resignation as township clerk, order please.
You don't deserve to know me.
Privileged emails from my office to a third-party attorney who had not been retained by the board. This privileged email contained confidential written legal advice to the township.
Here, let me get that on recording.
Order.
You wanna make more false accusations?
It's not false. I'm telling you that right
Order.
now.
It's not.
Are you kidding me?
Order. Hey, order, please. Written legal advice, and the township board did not waive any such privilege to be disclosed with third parties unaffiliated with the township. In addition to the constant issues occurring last month and this month and in the past, it also appears that you're using social media to make accusations against a sitting Midland County Commissioner about alleged misconduct. Although the above examples are not all-encompassing synopsis of an alarming things that you have done with respect to the township and community, it does present a pattern. Conclusion. Our office will vigorously defend the township and, if necessary, take appropriate offensive legal action to end the multitude of issues that you are causing. The township encourages and appreciates when its constituents engage with it in a lawful, protected manner, including even when constituents may make harsh criticisms of the organization. Yet, when your actions relate to false accusations of crimes reported to the authorities, are intended to harass and or intimidate the township and its officials, or relate to unauthorized use of township property, they cross a line. Sincerely, Kyle O'Meara. So with that, folks,
she's on
the board.
How much did
I am
that cost
making a
per word,
motion
Art?
to adopt and have this letter sent.
How much did
Do I
this
have a
cost, Art?
Second. Is this the
All
time
right.
for discussion?
Yes. I sent this out earlier for review and comment. I have consulted with each of you. None of you had any additions or comments to the correspondence. Hang on.
Shame on me?
Disrespect your wife like
And all right, now discussion.
Not even sure where to start. First of all, I'm just disheartened by this. This is not the first time.
Let me speak up.
I will try to do that. I'm disheartened by this. This is not the first time that this term has been paid for someone personally to be harassed and intimidated. Okay, like this happened to me a few years ago. We won't go into that. My problem is this: something was stolen. Who stole it? We can't prove it, but it was stolen. It was taken. That is what created this. This person did have permission from the person that had rented the hall. If we don't want I'm not sure how to say this, co-rentals to occur, then we should adjust our policies to do that. I am not in favor of the removal of the free little library. We fight so hard for our kids to have less screen time, to do less sitting. Not that I wanted to talk clearly, but I just mean like what? This is a good thing for our township, and it feels a little bit like this is coming from a place of hate on all sides of this. And it's not representative of what I want to spend my time and energy on and what I think our community does. I think as public elected officials, no matter what happens, I've been the subject of ridicule and harassment on Facebook. I think I'm not on there, but people forward it to me all the time. People in this room have said horrible things about me for years on end. but we are elected to sit at this table and not engage in that. To be above the bar. I call my friends when I have a complaint, or, excuse me, a bitch. I call my aunt. My parents are dead. I said, listen to what this person said about me, and they don't bring it here. I would also like to endorse no more unannounced home visits across the board.
Hmm.
I would like that to not happen at my home also. And I can't imagine, can we find another way around this? I won't speak to a lot of the other things in this letter, but can we find a different solution than just removing the free little library? Jill offered to take it over. I don't even know if that's something that the person who is currently running it would be interested in, but can we find a way around removing it and keeping that here? It is inherently a good thing.
I have just one comment to make about the free little library, because I agree with you. I think the free little libraries are a very functional part of the community when they're accessible. My concern, and after having noticed a lot of activity in Edenville this past year with monitoring with some of the with the cameras and stuff, is, and being there in the evening, we have a lot of people that are out and about in Edenville, walking up and down Moore Street, kids on their bicycles, things like that. I don't think they're gonna cost them $30 to come over here to the free little library to pick it up. If we could have something at Cranston Park, that might be a great location for something. But given what we've got out here, it is something that is a nice piece of furniture that has been fixed up nice, but it doesn't really suit the needs over there. Most free little libraries are square boxes with, roofs on them, and they're out in an area where there's high traffic. I would be very wholeheartedly supportive of having something in Edenville where there's a more traffic area, more kids doing things.
Part of the reason we had the pavilion, we endorsed that project and partnership, and the playground was to have more of that here, and we do have that here. We do have a lot of traffic here, and I have seen there is no universal structure to the little free library. I don't think I can say there's any. This is what they all look like. I don't like ours. I would be in favor of it going somewhere where there's a lot of traffic and kids. I think we have that here. I think we found it here. I think this has just become some weird personal vendetta on both sides that is tiresome, exhausting, not what I wanted to do sitting here. So.
To both your comments, it's good to have an item that kids like, when actually the toys and slides and that over on North Street, that might be a more feasible place to put it.
Is there a way to have it covered like it is
There's a
here?
pavilion there.
Could it?
I think we could.
Somehow.
We might have to adapt a few things, but I think instead of, without putting any more decorations on it, without doing anything other than having books. And it's expensive being a library, it's not a decorative joint.
What's wrong with decoration?
But we wanted the kids, and that's the place that most kids go, the swings, the slides, the ball players play ball over there, maybe they, who knows? Okay, that's more activity there than there's our pavilion. Say we move it that way.
Any other comment? Okay. I think we need to do a roll call vote on this to adopt the letter.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Kay Peters? Yes. Hausers, yes. Kay Peters?
Yes.
Sperling?
Voting on what?
Adopting the letter that was just read.
It's adopt the letter that was drafted? Yes.
Starkey?
No.
Thank you.
Okay. This is 4-0 or 4-1. Item 21A4, review rules for Swanton Memorial Hall rental. Attached to there is a transcription of several different sets of rules that we found as we were going through paperwork.
I just have one quick question before we get into the reason. I saw that we had an updated rental rules, but I didn't do the blank. I didn't, there wasn't any.
It was the next page.
I know, but I still didn't. All I have are the current ones.
Those are the updated. That's consolidated. Now, we can choose to amend and change these.
So you already made changes to the existing ones? I'm sorry.
All
I
we
thought
did
were
was
gonna-
transcribe, because we didn't have any, we just had a single sheet of paper, so I took those and typed them up. I went through, and those, this has not been posted, so if you want to update those or change it, it's not.
Just make sure you're watching on YouTube so I get the views.
Yes.
Okay, because I thought we were gonna look at proposed revisions,
If you guys want to, yeah.
but you didn't write any proposed.
I did not change.
That's okay, thank you. I just wasn't sure what, thank you. But I just, clarified. Again, I think we're saying this.
She's hurry home with your husband's having an affair.
Could we ask to maybe table that because I misunderstood and thought that you were,
Well, first of all, we can adopt these and then review, revise them next month.
and these were already the ones that we've always been following.
Well, we can't find where they were ever adopted. So I was just asking to adopt, we can,
I see.
So there has been
I've been-
confusion with
I've
what's on the
seen all of these
website.
before.
yes,
Well, what's on the website is different than
Not-
what
not-
is posted.
not anymore.
Okay,
This has
okay.
been,
okay.
I understand.
we had
All
at
right.
least 3 different variations of things.
So these were the unofficial, official Swanson.
Well, I'd like to make them official and then we can update them.
Okay, yes, I would like a chance to examine and update down the road, but yeah.
Yeah, well, we can do that next month or in January.
I think one of the things that I have, with the rentals coming into the office now, which before they had just been kind of held until after the rental date and everything is, we actually right now are in a time when we had a lot of people interested in the hall. And it's kind of like, well, have you put your deposit in? Well, no, I haven't. So now it's like, I think we really need to get that down, that when you rent the days, if you want to rent the hall, you need to pay your upfront rental fee.
In fairness
But
to
anyway.
Crystal, I did make one thing very explicit in this.
Thank you.
Under item number 5,
Yes.
it says your rental is not secured until both rental fee and security deposit have been received. Reservations are on a first come, first served basis.
You
Yes.
added that as types
I-
of both those sentences.
Yeah.
That's new. Thank you. I just always assumed that was part of the
Well,
process. But thank you.
We've had a lot of people and we've actually had a couple of try double, I think it was Thanksgiving Day, wasn't it, where there's like a plethora of people. It was Thanksgiving Day here, so we said first one with the check.
Money talk.
So, but again, I think that's informally been the practice, which is.
Due to the financial statement that we had a little bit of Swanton, are we gonna look at making that rental fee?
I think we do, but I think we ought to do that. We can do that next month perhaps, but I'd like to at least say, okay, guys, I kind of went out on a limb and I took these and I revised them and I published them. But because we had 3 different sets, I tried to get, this is a baseline on that. And Crystal, I really would value input and changes, because I'd like to see maybe raising a rental fee, but giving a discount to not-for-profits or something.
Or some senior programs or something.
Well, that's a not-for-profit, yeah, community kind of things. I mean,
All right, thank you.
so,
Happy to do.
and what I did was I tried to, we had several different cleanup lists. And so these are now kind of all consolidated in this. So, I'm gonna move that we adopt these, but with the proviso we will come back to it.
Right back.
Second. guess we're not spending, well, let's do a roll call.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions or comments? And it's,
Okay, so you're gonna call. Motion made by Peters, second. Okay, Kay Peters? Yes. Hauser, yes. A Peters?
yes.
Jim Sperling?
Yes.
Starkey?
Yes.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for that. I feel a little better having published them. And we can review these in December, so if you have thoughts and ideas.
Could I ask a question? Is this what's on the website now? Okay.
It is.
Thank you.
I got out over my skis maybe a little, but I thought trying to get everything
Well,
consistent.
it's good to be consistent because we have people calling in and.
Yep.
So this is good.
Okay, 21B1 on our packets basically is a set of rules for public comment. Guys, it was brought up in one of our previous meetings that we weren't consistently reminding folks of time limits and things like that. This is just codifying some best practices. I think a couple of you have given input to this. With that, I would ask that we adopt these and just post them here. It keeps us all on the same page.
Guess what? I have some questions.
I bet.
I know. Are we making, do we have to make the motion and second it before discussion or?
Yeah. So if I could have a motion to adopt
So moved.
and a second,
I'll second.
we'll let that side of the table this time. All right, now, Crystal.
So if we're going to say that this is an opportunity for residents to share their public comments without a response from the board, however, the board reserves the right to ask for clarification or correct inaccuracies, can we also include that the board also reserves the right to come back to those and address those comments if the majority allows to do so? There was a number of public comments I was hoping we could circle back and speak to. However, maybe that has to require the majority of the board, or maybe that has to, I'm not sure, but I would like for us to have the right to be able to do that. I think that there are members in the public who would like to have some answers when they ask them, and why couldn't we at the end of our meeting, or depending on where it might be appropriate throughout the meeting, address some of those concerns without engaging in turmoil and conflict. Disagree completely and wholeheartedly.
I think we had one time, at the end of the meeting, we had a rebuttal for all of us. If we had something to say to the public about what they brought up, we could say it.
Not just a rebuttal, just an
Well, I
engagement
mean, just
conversation.
information, I don't mean, by everything, but comments were made in different areas, and we wanna talk about the cemetery, we wanna talk about Swan Hall, we wanna talk about the little library. We're gonna have an opportunity at our particular time, and that's been taken off, maybe we should have that back.
Okay.
You know, we have a time, if we have nothing to say, fine, we have 20 minutes to say it, go ahead and say it. Okay, and that's your time, my time, there's sometimes we like to say some stuff. Some of it is harsh and some of it's wrong, and some of it's 20 years ago, but who cares? But we need to have a chance to come back and say what we feel.
Also, just another comment, if we keep public comment prior to approving the agenda, if somebody does bring up something that we feel like is worth a full, or discussion, a board member could ask to have that added to the agenda.
That's where we had it, right?
Typically, you try, I think we.
Oh, no, we,
Yeah,
I
we
see.
try to,
The
pulling
before.
before the.
I like
approval
that.
of the agenda.
Something they'd say, then we could have the
Yes.
opportunity.
Just general
Or
comment
add
at the
something.
beginning,
Exactly.
and then a couple
Yeah.
of members could add an
I like that
agenda,
idea.
comments to address it, just for
Yeah,
agenda.
so we'll
items
just try to
specific.
keep,
Approval of the agenda after.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
One other comment, that was really good, thanks, I appreciate that. The other thing is that this idea of personal attacks on specific residents or board members are inappropriate. I agree, will not be allowed. Individuals who violate this rule forfeit their ability to make, you have an R there, you wanted to leave, but anyway, make public comments for 6 months. It seems a little harsh.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's an arbitrary number. But also, we're,
Where'd it come from?
I don't know, yes, that's a good question. I'm assuming he's pulling it from somewhere from on MTA or from our law firm. But it seems harsh, even if that is what they recommend, that seems like a really long time.
Okay, what would you like?
You know, maybe for the next meeting, they're not allowed, or, you know, so I guess 1 month or 2. The other aspect of this too is, and I am not as well versed in First Amendment rights as others in this room. But if somebody wants to say something, regardless, I mean, they could say, I don't mow my yard often enough, or I don't keep my ditch as trimmed as it probably should be, right? There's all kinds of things growing that, if they want to come here and say that publicly, don't they have the right to do that, even though I'm a board member? I mean, I don't know, I don't agree with it, and I personally wouldn't do it. However, I'm real hesitant to put constraints on the rights of our public members to come here and say what they feel.
But I would personally like to see, for public comment, things that are relative to either what related to the agenda for the evening or some topic in the township that they have a concern about. Have those types of substantive comments. It would also it'd be also nice to have ideas on solutions to problems or support. Yes.
And it's interesting too, right? If I send the official correspondence, it's read, even if it takes longer than 3 minutes. But if I stand up to speak in a meeting, I'm limited to 3 minutes. Like, I don't know. I was noticing that when we were reading the.
Yeah, and I'm a slow
Somebody
reader.
was reading it. No, that's not what I meant at all.
No, no,
I just
no.
think, like, I'm thinking to myself, if I was a member of the public, how would I best communicate with this board in a public forum? I don't know. 6 months seems harsh. But I also am really just hesitant to, I don't want to be personally attacked. I don't want those things to be said about me, but I admit they're right.
Give me a number.
I don't know. Well, I am not sure I just agree with any of number 5 on its premise. It just.
You gonna say 3 months?
Oh, that's still harsh in my mind. I don't know. So I would like to reserve the right for us to come back to the public comment. I would say no more than 2 months on that, but also I'm just hesitant about how number 5 is worded about limiting what people say. I mean, we've all, I don't know. Hasn't had something negative said about them somewhere along the way.
But I don't know how, I think one of the things too is making sure public comment relates,
Provides
provides us board's business, and.
So maybe that's the wording then, that your comments specifically are related to something on our agenda and the business we're doing and not going down this, and not defining what it is not. Maybe we define what it should be.
It'd be nice to hear, the $70,000 we spent to clean up West River Road. If someone appreciated that going by they walk past it every single day. That comment was never made. So there was a lot of work and money spent to clean up that piece of property. You know, how much was the 70,000 plus? We don't have the final totals of it. It's gonna go to 100,000. Just to clean up that one piece of property. And I think- I drove back before it was done, and the car's taking almost 3 foot from the end of the road, and all that's gone. And it is a beautiful improvement in the property.
I think if we define what the direction we would like them to be, like, as long as it pertains to the business.
And our road, we're not,
I think the business
how many
aspect
roads
of
have
it
we
is-
fixed? A lot of people got a fixed road, and we don't hear much from them. We spent $200,000, gonna spend $200,000 on a road this year.
I think it's
The
unrealistic.
petty stuff is just getting way overhead.
I would say, and maybe I'm remiss, because I've had a number of people send me private communications thanking me for. Okay, I'm sorry, Jim, I'm I'm remiss in doing it. But I've had a number of people stop by, I'm out in the yard to pass encouragements along, so.
I hear when they do trip and seal and they get in their grass, I hear that one right away.
So, Crystal, I said something to the effect of public comment should be pertinent to township business.
How about 30 days?
No, that's just a month.
That's 1 month.
Okay, that's
I think
30 days.
That's better than 6 months. I think that's a fair compromise.
Sometimes they want, that'll bypass the meetings, 30 days is more, sometimes we're not 30 days between meetings. But
Yeah.
That's a different point.
I wonder if we even have to put that last part in. Can
Don't
we
have
just
to.
make the statement, number 5, personal attacks on specific residents or board members are not appropriate and will not be allowed?
Again, I'd rather see number 5 speak to say something along the lines that public comment should be directly related to the business that we are conducting.
Fine.
Public comment should be pertinent
No.
to township business.
That's all.
Specifically, yeah. So I would like to think that in the not too distant future, we will have this going on more. And people will come look back and read that and think, gosh, what was the perspective that board was thinking of when they wrote that? I hope that is.
Well, that's something that's been established.
So I
A
would
lot over the
change
last
that
few years.
to now read, public comment should be pertinent to township business.
And then something about also reserving the right to circle back to address public comment as needed or if necessary or if warranted or however you wanna word that. But it'll give us the opportunity.
I think we always have the opportunity. We always have the opportunity either at the end, of a meeting, like you said, Jim, when we have our,
And I will add that back in.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I appreciate you hearing me. Thank you very much.
I'll put this, look at it next month.
I'm sorry,
You know, I'll take this, we'll look at it next month.
I can.
We're tabling this too.
You're just giving me all kinds of assignments, aren't you, Ms. Berlin?
Can I ask a question then? So what you guys are gonna do now is if there's a question asked from a person, are you gonna address it at the end of the meeting? Is that
I'll
what you?
address that after the meeting.
I'm sorry,
I will address that after,
Okay.
after the meeting.
okay.
Okay, so that's.
Winter,
Yeah. Yes.
I got one other thing, I gotta talk about, the letter from the fire department.
We got 2 things.
Like that.
Yes, I did.
Okay, they okay, you okay to come next month, present this certificate.
So before we get to that one, Jim, we've got, as we were rudely reminded, fall is leaving and winter is arriving. And we received a bid for plowing, that needs to be acted on. So Kim, I'll let you walk through the bid we've gotten.
This is the bid that we have gotten from Howden's Landscaping for our winter plowing. And since not having reference points, the rates look probably comparable to what they have been in the past. The the cemetery is $35 per plow. Fire station number 1, $80 per plow. Salt application per visit and sidewalks, $100. Fire station number 2, $50. Salt application, $50. Swan, $85. Salt application, $100. Township office, $30. Salt application, $40. The only thing I would ask is, and I should potentially follow up with Mr. Howden regarding this, is we are had damage from salt applications.
I thought fire specifically asked to not have salt.
Well,
Is that-
so let me,
That's a,
Type of
yeah.
salt.
okay, so before we get into the conversation, let's move in,
Okay,
get into, so are you making a motion to adopt this, Kim?
I'm making a motion to adopt it, yes.
And guys, we probably are not given the luxury of tabling. I'm just gonna, I will second this. Now, Crystal,
Well, I just seem to recall on multiple occasions that fire saying specifically they would prefer to not have salt applied because of the damage.
Well, and you look around, there's quite a bit of spalting that comes from that. I'm wondering if maybe we could not do this salting, but just plow it and live with, and I know we've got some ice melt that we keep in the township office, maybe we,
Just spread minimal amounts, we'll
Yeah.
need it.
and then for
Fire
meeting-
station.
well, let the fire team deal with their thing. I don't know, I wish someone from the fire department was here because it would have been a great conversation. But I do recall that they kind of carpet bomb the salt sometimes. I mean, it's good because it.
The only thing I would worry about is
Interest ways.
public accessibilities and so like here for our meetings, township office, some of that we're just gonna.
So maybe
back
what,
the road and
well, so maybe what we do is we say for nights that there's a meeting, have salt, but not regularly. I don't know, I'm trying to find a,
I say you can see the damage that salt has done to the back door of the township office.
Yeah.
Down at the bottom, we're starting to get a rust out on that door. And I know it's from the winter
I'm
salt.
wondering, could the facilities manager, whomever
Yep.
comes next, could
We
do
have
the Swanton Hall and Township
Other
office?
alternatives than salt.
Pardon me?
There are other alternatives than salt.
Yes, there is.
and
Let's get them to look at something different product.
Mhm.
And
it's
then just
generally,
salt.
generally pretty expensive.
I know it's gonna, they were changing figures, but we still need to look at something that's environmentally friendly and not hurting our property or the village.
If we're gonna experiment in this way, maybe we could ask the fire department to do the experimentation. I just wouldn't want it to be where our residents, or they come to our township office, they come here for the meetings. It seems like we would maintain the salting there. Maybe we can experiment at fire if I'm remembering correctly that they didn't want the salt.
No, you were more correct.
Okay, then we could, then if they're willing to do the experiment, then maybe they could come back to us for a recommendation in the future, but I would hate for us to be experimenting and then someone falls here and
Yeah,
have a
this entrance
different
here is
issue
the
on our-
entrance into the township office and to where the
Yeah.
traveled by general
Right, I
public.
wouldn't
So,
want to reduce.
no, we don't want that, yeah.
It wouldn't hurt to talk to Mr. Hall that there's an alternative product.
So,
Alternative product.
so I guess maybe the modification I'm hearing is we adopt as submitted, except for the salting of the fire department.
The two.
The two fire buildings, we ask for an alternative there, and then we ask also if you would consider it at all properties and what the cost differential would be. But we will adopt everything except for the salting of the fire department right now, just because,
And I'll rather supervise it.
Yeah.
Maybe they would just.
no, they might.
They might, right, they might have it. It's worth it.
Okay.
All right. Do you want me to follow up with the fire department or just let them know that we're, how it's going to be solved?
Let them know that they're not salting now, that they want it added. So,
Some of the new products are not that expensive. Big buckets of it.
yes,
At a reasonable cost.
I still got 10 from when I lived in Iowa. Yeah, it's not bad.
So we're gonna start with the same changes to the salting. Okay. So I guess we need.
Roll call.
Roll call, there we go. Hauser, yes. Kay Peters? Yes. A. Peters?
Yes.
Starkey? Yes. Sperling?
Yes.
And we're gonna have,
Fertilizer.
okay, Jim.
The modern woodmen of America want to give our fire department a certificate. And I'd like to have them come next month and present it, just give them okay to come. That's all we want to do.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I don't know.
I heard Crystal jumped in
She
first.
jumped in first.
Doesn't matter.
All right, any questions, comments, concerns? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right. We've now reached the end of our agenda. And would entertain a motion to adjourn, and then starting next month, I will put back in closing comments.
I would appreciate that.
Very good.
Thank you.
So, motion to adjourn,
Yes.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all for showing up.
Now you can answer questions. Now we can have a conversation.
No, he's got.
No, it's not
Oh, sorry.
Well, if he's got to go, he's got to go.
What we'll try to do is we'll try to accommodate different board members.
But I appreciate what you're doing here, coming. I really do, Ted.
Just documenting it, just like little stuff like that, you know, it's.
Good.
Hey, I wanted to kind of let you know that township officials don't get paid for special meetings.
Yeah, I did, I went and researched some stuff.
Huh?
I went back and looked through the minutes and stuff.
Yeah, we just.
It was just for like the committees and stuff, they get their
It's the
per
committees,
diems and-
exactly, yeah, the
Yep.
planning commission committee, ZBA, board of review, all of those. Jim gets paid for his code attendance at the code authority. Water district pays water district members, Wixom Lake, we don't pay it, I don't know if they do that. You would need to ask Terry, I don't know,
Yep,
but I don't know if they
yep.
do.
That's why I
So-
put it out, I'm like, I think, and then, but it opens
Listen,
up for conversation.
Call me anytime. And did you get my email I sent
I
you?
did.
Okay.
Yep, I appreciate that.
Okay, anytime.
I really want you guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, you guys, about the public comment, trying to restrict it just to township business. That supersedes the First Amendment, freedom of speech.
But the thing is the purpose of these meetings are for township business.
Right.
And that is what we have to
You
keep our
can-
focus on.
there's-
And really, even though, and that's why with the open meeting act, I think it's important to understand is that this is the time the board can meet and actually talk about this. Crystal and I hardly ever.
Right, if there's gonna be,
she's busy and-
public comment, you can limit individuals. And I'd say
These are the things that it's hard. I
you
mean,
can
it's-
run it by them to have the public comment, just this general public comment. People show up, and there's a time limit. They can come in here and talk about anything for that 3 minutes.
And if I,
But
it
now
would
I
be-
suggest at the end of the meeting, have another public comment for agenda specific items before you guys vote on them.
Well,
That way-
that's too many. Okay, so this is the thing, is we are talking about business to make the township work better. And so having public comment, these meetings would go to midnight. Or we can have more special meetings.
I mean, it's kind of what you guys signed up for, however much time it takes.
I think, I'd be happy to share anything I've got that will.
I would just I would run that by the attorney real hard about trying to restrict public comment. If we're gonna have it, because that's restricting somebody's freedom of speech.
Well, 3
It's just like I can stand up here, and I can cuss, as long as I don't threaten nobody and direct it specifically to one person as a threat.
Mm-hmm.
It does have to be any comment, it does have to be directed to the board. You can't just call one person out. You know what I mean? Unless you're standing
But
up,
you're
standing up saying, I'm gonna file a lawsuit because of what this person did.
But when you're addressing for public comment, the person you're addressing is the chair. Okay, and that. So, like I said, happy to discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I just highly, because I will, if it passes next month, I will come in here and I will talk about it. I'll take getting cuffs put on, thrown out, because it opens you guys up to a civil rights violation, which the township don't need, especially with all the money that's gonna be getting paid out for fire equipment, stuff like that. So I will be as educated, I can educate as much as I can. But if the people that are trying to give them the information don't accept it, This is what I do. I know for a fact I'm right on the public comment. You can watch hundreds of videos, thousands of them from around the country.
Well, and that's,
And people walk in, they'll talk about, they'll have chat GPT. Just rattling stuff off and they'll sit there. That's their time. That's what they want to talk about. It sucks, probably for you guys, I'm sure, because you got to listen to it, but.
no, it's, I mean, we take it. But anyway, thank you, sir.
Thank you too.
Signed account.
Pay for your late comeback.
So someone did that and
Anyway, that's a whole different story.
How we doing? How you doing today? You're doing great. I tell you, it helps just set that down.
I'm still.
But with the setbacks. Even with builders being a privately owned road.
All right, y'all, we're getting out of this meeting. It's been a long one. As you can see, there's going to be some issues going to be arising through some First Amendment stuff, freedom of speech. I hope they do look into the laws and they educate yourselves on it. I will come back and I will do what I need to do. Y'all should know that. If you don't, well, you will. We'll post it up on a video. We'll be attending these meetings, so. Edenville Village or Edenville Township. If you guys want to contact them, you can look up their information, send them emails, give them a phone call, whatever you guys need to do. Feel like it. Just try to be nice. And appreciate you guys watching this, and make sure you like, share, subscribe to this video. It's been a long one. It's cold out here, so I'm going to shut this off and get my truck warming up. Appreciate y'all for watching again. Midland Michigan Media, out.